Every time I go in a trade now, I go in thinking I might be wrong versus a lot of retail, when they go into a trade, they're already calculating how they're going to spend all the money that they're going to make.
TA is 10%, in my opinion. TA and the skill of learning where to buy and sell is 10%. 90% is the structure, the rule system, and the discipline. Yesterday marked an incredible milestone, not only for myself, but for the entire Sniper School team. We officially finished our first cohort. And to be honest, the feedback's been absolutely incredible. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I believe this is the best TA school out there. It is simple, it is easy, and it's accurate. And the proof's in the pudding. The community are doing absolutely amazing.
I wanted to say thank you. I've been in crypto for almost 3 years, and in the last 3 weeks, this has completely changed my thinking.
And Sheldon was a kickstart for me, and this whole platform, this whole kind of community has just been phenomenal.
Blessed, lucky, grateful, excited.
So what we decided to do in this video is actually bring you another live event. We want to show you that this is not only just a school, it's a community, it's love, it's passion, and it's been built off of a true story.
I see what you're doing, bro. Trust me, I feel the same. I want to build the same thing that you're doing and help people get out of a certain situation and become who they want to be in life.
People are saying amazing stuff, and it speaks a lot to what you guys are building. And you know, from someone who's been all about education for a long time, it's great to see so many people stepping up.
Now guys, you need to understand the next cohort is coming up, and we only have 2,500 spots left. I did a video previously and they're filling up incredibly fast. These are the following steps you need to do in order to get into the next cohort. The first thing you need to do is you need to open an exchange account using one of the links below. Now once you have done that, you will then click on the Sniper School link, which is below, and you will register. It's then going to ask you for a user ID. Now guys, if you already have an exchange off of a previous banter link, you will then open a different exchange link and use that user ID. And you need to deposit at least $100 or more. This is your trading capital. You get to trade with it on the actual course. Now what I want you to do is sit back, relax, and watch one of the live events in action. We have Gareth Soloway on this one sharing his alpha. You will soon realize that this is not just a school. This is an incredible community. This is a family. I want you to be a part of this journey. You don't want to miss out. Hurry up and make sure you book your spot on the next cohort.
Awesome. Welcome everybody. Welcome back. People moving in here. We've got Gareth Soloway in the house. We've got Sheldon the Sniper in the house. We've got Mama Sniper. We've got the whole mod team sitting here. Welcome to our Sniper School community. Welcome to all of our people who have made the effort to trek across the country to join the team at the Banter headquarters there in Cape Town, Lucky Fishers. Before we dive into the content, as always, really love to hear from the crowd. So going to invite anybody that would love to share with us. You can raise your hand or you can post a comment and we'll pull you up if you're comfortable to come onto the stage. There we go. We've got Patricio again joining us from his awesome looking workshop.
Hello, everyone. Hello from Mexico. So yes, this training and this course has been amazing. It's been a lot of information to digest, especially a lot of things that you wouldn't imagine that could be used for trading, for cryptos, and for all this stuff. So for me, I've been taking the course very like small step at a time, reviewing, making research about every single training that we had, or every course or every subject on the training. And it's been just amazing. Thank you. And especially I feel more comfortable now. I've been doing some paper trading on TradingView, trying to put some of the trading to the test to see if I'm a little bit more ready or not to do anything. But yes, it's been great. It's been great. Thank you. And I've been.
Well done, bro.
Hey, Sheldon.
What's up? Well done.
Sheldon, mi amigo.
I love the workshop, bro. You need to send me that picture. I wanted to. You've inspired me to build a trading den with a workshop in the background. I think great. I want it. I think it's great. You know, when it's time not to trade and the RSI is not reset yet, I can go build something in the background.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Well done, bro. On paper trading, on being committed. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep going.
It's been a lot of information. So one of the things that I wanted to express is I'm not in a hurry to be a crypto millionaire. So I rather study a lot more before trying to do something on the markets. Because to be completely honest with you, I made a mess and I lost some money because I didn't know what to do. So with all these trainings that you have given us so far, everyone can allow us to make a little bit more research on that and to understand it a little bit more. I'm not ready to trade yet. So paper trading, trying to have fun, trying to sleep well, because I remember those nights that you were sleeping with the phone right next to you with trading and just waking up every half an hour. No. I just leave the phone upside down now, just waiting there while it recharges during the night, and I sleep so much better now. Thank you for that.
It's an absolute pleasure. That's the key. That's the key. Not to disrupt your life crazy, because I did it for a very long time. Laptop next to me. How many of you, don't lie, put your hand up that the first 10 minutes in the morning you look at how much Bitcoin is. like don't lie. Everyone. That's so bad. It's like this. I'm sure Gareth, I actually want to ask you, do you look at the Bitcoin price in the first 10 minutes in the morning?
Absolutely. I mean, heck, I wake up in the middle of the night to pee and I look at the Bitcoin chart.
Now I make my coffee first and then I look at the Bitcoin price.
What has this space done to us? It's crazy.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience again. Awesome to hear from you and to see what an impact it's made. Let's hear from one or two other people. Let's hear from Bomi Rupa.
Hey, Sheldino, how are you? Hi, Gina. How's everybody?
What's up? Oh, you're the Northern Lights over there.
Yes, I'm enjoying the Northern Lights. At least this I can get in Dubai.
You have a beautiful view. Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely. But I want to say thank you, a big thank you for everything that you have done. The course is amazing. We have learned a lot, especially with the group. A big shout out to Mason. He has been very helpful, really good, amazing team, Sheldino, I should say. Gina has been supportive wherever it's required. Thank you for everything, guys. We have learned a lot, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's a lot. We will miss all these online chats that we have and the teaching that you give us one-on-one with your experience. But be rest assured, we are there on the Sniper chat. So yeah, you will hear a lot from us as well.
Thank you, bro. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Thank you for everything, Sheldon. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure.
And a big shout out to Ran, who made this happen. And Mama Sniper, thank you for everything. Tita, we're going forward for Tita. Be rest assured.
Tita's going.
Yep.
We'll get there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think what you mentioned is this is only the beginning. Like I said to the crowd that was here this morning, you might have been here. So it will be a repeat for some of you, but this is really the beginning. Those conversations in Discord, you have access to that chill and chat channel. You have access to your team voice channels and your text channels moving forward. I'll give you an overview of all the things you'll still have access to. So it really doesn't end here. This is really just the beginning of the start of building this amazing networking community for continued trading, knowledge sharing and enjoying working together. Thank you for sharing that. Let's hear from Liam.
Hi everybody.
What's up?
Good to connect. I feel really grateful that Crypto School and Sniper School came along for me. I feel absolutely completely lucky that I got to learn from some great teachers. And I don't know if it's true to say it, but I feel extraordinarily blessed that the market is the way it is at the minute. This is a really good time to learn all this stuff. I won't go so far as to say it's like paper trading, but if you're anyway careful, you can't lose that much at the moment. The markets aren't doing so. It's the whole world, the whole universe seems to have bent in my direction, and meeting you guys and getting this opportunity. And just I want to say hello to Bryce, man, who's in Cape Town with you guys, because he put me onto it. And blessed, lucky, grateful, excited, but for a guy like me that the markets are low, it forces me to come to terms with my emotion. You just can't make the market move with your heart. You can want it to move, but you just can't make it happen. You got to wait. Thank you. Absolute
pleasure. Like, well done for also being motivated in this time. And I think it's a lot more what people need to understand. Like this is the time for you to learn and to, like you said, there's not much, the markets are down. Maybe there's one more capitulation. I don't know who believes that the market may be at 10,000 Bitcoin. We'll speak to Gareth about that. Actually, I'd love to see if he expects the lower range, but ultimately this is the perfect time. A lot of damage is done. This is the time for you to push, time for you to take your time. I think this is going to take a little bit of time to recover. So you have time. And I think that's one thing to be grateful for, because the bull market comes out of nowhere and it comes so fast, probably at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're busy sleeping. It just comes out of nowhere. And then the real work starts, where the non-sleeping, the grinding, that all happens. So enjoy your rest now. Enjoy building the structures now. Remember what I said previously, just try figure out as deeply as you can what you actually want crypto to do in your life. Just try deeply to understand what is it exactly and build the roadmap for when it happens. You know what I mean? Be ready for when it happens. And it's not about when it's going to happen. Are you ready for when it happens? So well done, Liam. Thank you so much.
And just to say, I don't think you can learn from you, Sheldon, without getting a sense of the structure. Do you know what I mean? If if you don't have structure, you're gambling.
No, you're gambling. 100%. TA is 10%, in my opinion. TA and the skill of learning where to buy and sell is 10%. 90% is the structure, the rule system, and the discipline.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you. Guys, I want to remind you again, the cohort is filling up very fast. It's the 3 simple steps. Use an exchange link below and deposit $100. If you already have a pre-existing account, open a different exchange and deposit the $100. And then you're going to register for Sniper School, and then you're going to put in your user ID. Get your spot now.
Awesome. Thank you, Liam. Oh, I see so many hands up and I want to hear from everybody, but of course we do have limited time. So I'm just going to ask for some of the new names that are popping up tonight, and then we'll come back to some of those of you who are our loyal speakers in each of our workshops, which we so appreciate. Let's hear from you. Is it Benoit?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes. Hey guys,
oh, you're joining me. We're in the same place. We look like
exactly. I'm just on
we're
the
in the same place, bro.
Bridge.
Okay, I'm coming for a beer.
On the
after.
other side of
I'll
the
see
bridge.
you now.
No,
I'll see you after. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, so I think I just want to rebound on what everybody said, right? Thank you very much for that energy, for bringing us together towards, structure, robotization of our brain, and not, gambling the money that we might have lost, which I did. And, I'm so blessed and happy that you guys came in my life and helped me. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you. I'm coming for a beer after this, sir.
Exactly. You guys are all more welcome. You come in the south of France, we go and have a party.
Amazing. I'm in.
Please.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Got to share a comment. Abriela Assam has just said, I was at a mental breakdown before joining the school. I got sucked into the trading space and lost major amount of life savings. But Sheldon's story helps me keep going. And now going back to the basics has revived my mind. Thank you. Lol. No more sleeping with laptop in bed and the ability to spend time with my children. Giving my life back. What an amazing comment.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that, Grant. That's awesome. Let's hear one more for now. Let's hear from, is it Akorere? Did I say that correctly? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, bro. I see you with Elon Musk on Mars.
Yeah, I am. I'm speaking to you, man. I've always spoken to existence that one day I'm going to speak to Sheldon, man, and just tell him, listen, like, man, one day I'll see you face to face and you really see how much this means to me, brother. Like, I've come a long way. I understand, like, your struggles. I've gone through struggles. And I think I started watching your videos since around January. And I've just like, I remember that every time I get excited, I used to work from home. So I'd have your video on the side and I'm just like, yeah, get up, be positive. And I just always used to, even that message there used to just get me through my days. And then I started to like get in. Then I remember there was a point where you're like, listen, you don't have money, start trading. And I tried to get into DeFi. So like Miles, I tried to like, DeFi, learn how to invest. But then that one thing that you said, listen, you're not going to get to the gains with where you want to go if you just want to start investing. And I started trading. I do IT right now. So technical analysis has always been something that I've enjoyed. Okay. So I started trading and I just enjoyed looking at the charts. I enjoyed looking at charts, enjoying learning trend lines. started to have my own little strategy. But the one thing I could say personally was the emotion side. I didn't understand how to control emotion. Then I have a strategy. Then doing this course is like, I've written down everything, and it's like all of them has come back on the course. But I have literally everything you've told about portfolio management. I've been writing it down since all your videos that you've put on YouTube. So like, I'm a big fan, bro. Trust me.
That means a lot, bro.
You're gonna
see you. Come see me, bro.
Trust me. I told you, speak to existence, man. When I get my portfolio there, I'm gonna come. Trust me. It's a vision.
Come see me, bro.
Trust me.
Absolutely
You will.
amazing, bro. I'm excited. Come see me, bro. I want to see you. Let's go have a good night.
Don't worry.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
You're an inspiration, man. Trust me. People really look up to you, man. I do. Oh, listen, I have my own story and we'll share it together, bro. I've come from a dark place and now I'm out of there. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you now, keep doing what you're doing. You're a hero, man. You're our Batman. You're a silent knight. You're protecting everyone. I see what you're doing, bro. Trust me. I feel the same. I want to build the same thing you're doing and help people get out of a certain situation and become who they want to be in life. Listen, everyone has a journey. Everyone has a look at my mom always used to tell me, look at your fingers, look at your hands. They're all different. Everyone's journey is different and we're all going to get there. We strive together, have a community. You've built something different. You ran. I am so blessed. That's all I can say. To have found you.
Thank you so much.
Right now.
Thank you, bro.
You're a hero.
Thank you.
Your mom as well, man. Stay strong. No tears, man. Come on. No tears, bro.
It means a lot to me. Thank you, bro.
Sheldon, you've got a new name. You're no longer Sheldino. You Batdino. This is the new one.
Batdino.
This is the new one. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you so much, guys. I see all the hands up. I'd love to take your commentary, but we do have Gareth for limited time, and I just want us to dive right in and get all the alpha we can while we're still here. So if you have comments that you aren't able to share by unmuting, please do share them in the chat. We just loving hearing.
I got to speak to the main man. Jesus, I'm so happy, man.
Cool. So I think let's move on. Sheldon, I'm going to hand over to you now. And between you and Gareth, you can sort of banter away and do your thing. I see Sheldon's got a beer there. You see, this is celebration.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. I got it.
I think before you dive in, just want to say, I think everybody basically encapsulates everything that you have done. But I think the hours that you've spent, the family sacrifices that have been made, I mean, not real sacrifices, but the sacrifice of time that has been made for you to deliver on this course. I think a big shout out to you. I mean, massive shout out to you. And I think you've really done an incredible impact.
Thank you.
And also to Run, who had this vision of crypto school and look at where we are now, a couple of months down the line. So this is all super exciting, and let's get into the alpha that we've promised for this event.
Thank you. And I do want to say just a massive shout out to the team. You guys kept me going. You kept me to Grant. We sat here. We pushed it every day to Run. I remember at one point I wanted to quit, and he just grinded me through it all. So the team, thank you so much. Okay, guys, sorry, I had to get myself out of the emotions, bro. Out of the emotions.
That's some amazing stuff. Let me just say that's amazing. People are saying amazing stuff, and it speaks a lot to what you guys are building. And from someone who's been all about education for a long time, it's great to see so many people stepping up, because I think everyone that takes that leap and learns is you have to understand. There are so many people in this world that just want to be given the fish for free. They expect everything, and then they get upset when they lose. And, those of you that are actually educating yourself, it doesn't just go right to trading crypto or trading stocks or commodities, but the things that you learn, including the discipline, right? Discipline is so important. It translates into all aspects of life, right? And it improves all aspects of life. And I think that's the important thing about it as well. So really cool stuff.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Thank you so much. So I think let's start it off. I think let's start off. The first thing, as what I was saying previously, is you came on the show last year. You were complete opposite to all of us then. And I think for me, when I joined the space, I came in when the market started turning bullish. And I think I never knew what bear market or even these really strong pullback. I never actually truly understood it. But you came in there saying, this is what I see. And this is end of the day, what I'm sticking to. And you stuck to it all the way through. And we went through 2 major bull cycles last year, which I'm pretty sure there must have been tons of times of temptation of slightly changing your analysis. If you don't mind just giving a basic view of like, what was your major lessons along the journey that, like, I think it's a very important thing because people are about to build their foundations right now. And it's so important that if they build the foundation now and they build this whole powerful system, when that bull market comes, I think it's so important to emphasize to people how it's going to try change every single part. It's going to try change everything. When it gets there, it's going to try and make you change everything that you designed in the bear market. Yeah. And if you don't mind just giving a little bit of your process and like, how did you get to that space?
Yeah. So for me, it was unfortunately going through the hardships of that type of thing, right? So growing up in my first years of trading in the late 90s with the .coms, it was so like I was having these flashbacks to the .com era and when I was watching what was going on in crypto and whether it's the emotion, the greed, all those things were going on. And I had learned the tough way, right? I was the beginning trader in the .com era where I learned the hard way. I saw everything collapse. I lost money during that period. And there was, it's interesting because every year in the markets, it could be commodities, stocks, or crypto or anything else. There's always a bull market somewhere. And generally these things tend to repeat over and over. So I wish I had some master formula, but it's honestly, it was going through it so many times where you get caught in it in the beginning. Then you start to it's like touching a hot stove. You get burned a couple times and you're like, wait a minute. And then it's kind of starting that discipline road. You start to kind of recognize the cues. You say, listen, don't get caught up in the hype. And it's kind of building that framework for being that trader where you become much more robotic, right? It's not about the emotion. You learn to not chase things when they're running up and everyone else is chasing. So I think for me, that's what it was. It was learning from experience, in my early years as a trader.
For someone that's about to build their foundation now, it's exactly that, right? Come to your analysis, come to your basic understanding of what you want out of the space and stick to it. What happens when you don't stick to it, Gareth? Just maybe if we could just touch on the topic of how this thing does try to change that mind completely when it's there. Because I think that's the hard part. I think making a decision now, people know what they want and they're actually smart. People think they can't do it. They actually can, but it's more the emotion drive. It's like emotions on steroids, like on a 10x when it gets to a Bitcoin at 60 or 100K. And that's where it gets really tough. That gets really tough to actually take the profits. It gets really tough to actually stick to it.
Well, and the toughest thing is to not flip, right? I mean, you've watched it go up X amount and then to not, you're going to get, the markets tend to they're going to push everyone to their limits, right? Even myself, when Bitcoin last year was hitting that 69,000, it was just above that April high. I mean, I couldn't help but say, whoa, could I, is this one of those times where I'm going to be wrong? And again, it's just saying, I guess part of it too is that always remember that there's always another trade, right? So you may miss Bitcoin, you may miss this crypto going higher, 10xing, but the discipline is what's going to ground you to not get caught off guard. And if you miss one, it's okay because there's another one coming around the turn, right? So you have to always remind yourself of that. And you will be wrong sometimes. Sometimes things will go up and you're not on board. But just remember that it's that discipline that is going to hold you safe. And being safe as a trader and being kind of that, and put it to you this way, is every time I go in a trade now, I go in thinking I might be wrong versus a lot of retail, when they go into a trade, they're already calculating how they're going to spend all the money that they're going to make, right? And it's going in thinking you could be wrong, that mentality that keeps you from putting your whole account in one trade, which obviously is not a good idea. And also preparing, how are you going to trade around that position if you need to? Where are you going to stop out? What are you going to do to kind of limit the damage that gets done? And so I think that's really key as well, is just having that game plan, having that thesis, right? And anytime you go into a trade, and this is the same with Bitcoin, is that even when we were at 69,000, I kept on asking myself, has my thesis changed? And remember, thesis isn't, oh, I feel it or my gut is telling me or anything like that. It's like, it's got to be, you got to think about standing in front of like Sheldon and defending your thesis in front of him. And if it doesn't hold up to him, then it's not a good thesis, right? It has to be technically based and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, it's an amazing stuff. And I think trading is just, it's one of those things that you can do. And I always say this too, and I'll say this, I know you have a lot of the people that you educated here, is that the best thing about trading, and I always say this, is that you could be 95 years old in a bed, and as long as you can click your finger on a mouse, you can make money trading, right? And so all of a sudden it's very liberating in terms of financial freedom, where, you know, obviously we want to save for retirement, but again, being able to make money almost at any point in your life by going into the trading markets is just an amazing freedom thing to have.
Very true. Now, with that on quick, like you just spoke about that discipline. Do you have like a set structure now? You know, it's all about trading like a robot, right?
Right.
Do you have like, so for me, example, if I'm entering a trade, I have a 4 checklist. And basically what I need is I'm allowed to enter the trade if 3 of them are ticked, and I'm allowed to go the full position of that specific trade if all 4 are ticked. And what I basically have is I have 2 of those that buy like where I think it should bounce, or the area of where my analysis. And then I got top up indicators where now I've gotten it, it's moving the way I want, and this is how I top and I fill the rest of my position and I make way. Have you got that sort of system for yourself?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. So I call them factors, but basically what I look for is at least 2 factors. 3 is ideal. Sometimes you'll get more, and they could be, in terms of technicals, they could be, you know, double tops, double bottoms, bottoming tails, you know, things like that, plus a pattern or a time factor. And so there's different things that I'll look at in that respect. And then one of the keys that I think a lot of investors, and I was talking to some traders this morning, and they just they weren't getting this aspect, is that even when you have factors, you also have to do an analysis of risk reward, right? So if you're going to end up making 50 cents on a trade, but you could lose $20 because it's run up already, you know, for me, it may not be worth it for me to take, even on a 3-factor trade, that trade. I may just step aside and say, you know what, I'll pass, I'll wait for the next one. And so it's exactly what you're saying. It's having that plan ahead of time, having that checklist, and then utilizing it.
So we do exactly that. We are not allowed to enter a trade unless it's 3 minimum to 5, and even up to the higher points. You actually scrap it. That's the first check you do.
Yep.
Is the actual risk to reward of it. And I think that's a very powerful lesson. Have you got any major, like, are you a trend line guy? Are you a support and resistance? Like, you know, I've taught them the basic of support resistance, of Fibonacci pullbacks, of simple RSIs, or these sort of thing. Is there anything that I'm missing that people should really like, you know, that works well for you, you know, like something, because end of the day, I've given foundations and I'm teaching my foundations, but I also want people to know that this is now a foundation and they need to now build the empire. And they need to still take as much. Firstly, they've made their opinion and they've made their idea of what they want out of crypto. That's not going to change. But ultimately, you can always take resources and knowledge from other people's to keep tweaking your strategies to ultimately get, you know, a better looking trading journal. I even got the guys on trading journals. And
awesome.
Trading journals are only there to improve yourself. That's what it's there for. Just to see, you know, what's happening when you're getting 3 losses in a row. Why? You know, it's there to just tweak whenever the market starts to shift its way. What is your major indicators? Have you got anything that you would like to just share, you know what I mean, above of just the simple support, resistance, and trend lines and possible pattern?
No, I was going to say, yeah, I keep it very, very simple. Like I use moving averages a little bit, but generally the bigger moving averages, because those are the more powerful ones. Fibonacci, like you mentioned, support, resistance, drawing my own trend lines. I don't put a lot of these crazy indicators on my chart, honestly, because I don't understand half of them. And if I don't understand it, it doesn't, you know, it's not going to work for me, right? So you always want to be able to understand what you're using to trade, so that you can adjust and kind of analyze it appropriately. But that's for the most part. Like I'm a chart guy. Like in just the simple charts, show me a candlestick chart and I can look at where the pivot highs and the pivot lows.
So if you had to look at Bitcoin now, where's Gareth buying? What's his view on it? What's his, you know, just your step process, the way and the only reason I'm saying is I just want to show people how everyone can have different views of it. Like use it all. You know, use it all in a way to sort of move. What's Gareth looking for from Bitcoin now? When does Gareth want to buy? Like, what is your points? Like mine, personally, I'll just give it, is I have a stochastic RSI nearly hitting bottom on the monthly and the weekly. So for me, I know bottom range is near. Doesn't mean bottom's in yet, but it means bottom range and phase is possibly near. I then have Fibonacci, I think it was, and I have the 14K support, the resistance, and I have a trend line on the weekly. Like I have a 4-step thing for me to like really on the higher time frame get in there. What's your step at the moment? What's your
So one of the things I'm keeping an eye on is that you can clearly see that the current price of Bitcoin is still below that June low right there of support, right? So we know that this is a drop. So this is technically a bearish inside bar pattern, bearish flaggish in spirit of bear flag. And it hasn't even been able to regain the price point from June. So for me, that's a major issue short term for Bitcoin. I still think we could go up and touch that line, but that'll be a level that I'm watching closely. Overall, I continue to be in the camp where this area down here, which I think is right around your 14,000, 13, 14 area here, 14, this is going to be a big level as well. And I do think eventually we retest that level on the downside. Now, for me, I kind of took it a step further when I was analyzing like where Bitcoin could bottom. I've been doing a lot of research because everyone wants to know where could Bitcoin bottom. And obviously, please keep in mind that this is just an opinion based on charting and history. But for me, I basically took FTX's fiasco and I likened it to the Lehman Brothers collapse in the stock market. And this is where my stock education kind of comes in, where I can bring these things out that I went through as a trader and kind of use them. And so when Lehman Brothers collapsed, it was a bank. They took on too much leverage. They did some stuff they shouldn't have. And eventually they failed. From that point, the stock market dropped 45% more till the March low of 2009. And it took about 5 to 6 months. So if FTX is kind of that scenario for the crypto markets, it puts the bottom on Bitcoin somewhere in I would say the May to June period, right? That 5-6 months out from now. Period. And it probably puts us right around the $10,000 to $9,000 range. The reason I like 10,000 in terms of a break point and thinking that we could break that on Bitcoin is simply that that's going to be where max pain is probably initiated for most crypto investors. So we know psychologically, investors probably will put stops at 10,000. We know that psychologically that's going to be like, oh my goodness, if Bitcoin ever breaks 10,000, it's going to be a fiasco. Everyone's going to freak out about it, which oftentimes can be the marker of a low in a chart or in an asset.
I'm pretty sure there's tons of liquidation sitting there too.
Yep, exactly.
And that's quite interesting because, I was looking at it that, emotionally as well. I don't know if you believe the market cycle. The simple market cycle. I believe we're still in anger phase. I still believe depression comes. Yeah. And what it basically means here is temporary, maybe push up in the market. I do have a slight indication where maybe we may have a slight push up, for a month or two, but then we do bleed down and possibly that 9K, emotionally wise, it makes sense. Do you feel the market is that you spoke about max pain? Do you think the market still has more damage to be done emotionally to the people before we can just start to make its way up? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, there's no doubt that you haven't reached that and the reason you can tell that is because you still see people posting on Twitter and stuff like that. Oh, the low is in. I mean, here we go. And every $100 uptick in Bitcoin, it seems like that's kind of the thing that people are saying. And the key to bottoms is when people are just like, it's like crickets, right? Everyone's just depressed. No one's saying anything positive. You even get people saying that Bitcoin will not be here in a year or two. I mean, that's really the marker. And by the way, that's again the psychological side that all of us that are education fiends for crypto or anything, you have to be ready to withstand. You go back to your thesis and you say, is my thesis still valid even when I'm saying this? Because it's going to make people, even like myself, question myself. And you have to be strong enough to just say, no, this is the thesis. This is what happens in bear markets. Let's withstand it and let's look for that reversal.
Amazing. I agree 100%. And I think, guys, did you hear that? We have so much time to become so smart in this game before the next, there is time when these big things,
and bear markets, by the way. Yeah, I was going to say bear markets are the place where people make their money, right? I mean, this is where it's not when you're buying at 65 or 69,000 on Bitcoin where your risk reward is horrendous. It's when the market is decimated and you're getting an asset that has major future value at such discounted levels. So, I mean, always remember that bear markets, if you know how to trade them, it's better than anything in the world in terms of generating money.
To be honest, it's probably the only time you can make money. It's all the hard work now. And then it comes to the next monster, the time to sell. When that market goes bullish and you're thinking about Lamborghinis and yachts, it's time to sell. Guys, this school gives you the foundation to start your incredible journey. Once you have done this, you'll soon see that crypto is not so hard anymore. It's actually simple, and to be honest, it's one of the biggest opportunities you'll get in your life. Remember, we are filling up the cohort very fast. Book your spot now.
I was just going to add one more thing too, is that just keep in mind that one of the keys to withstanding the emotional pressure of like a bear market is make sure not to over allocate funds, right? So the biggest thing is when you put a small amount of money into an asset, you know, and let's say you start buying a little Bitcoin, you dangle into it a little bit. You have to remember that if you put too much money in, when that asset goes against you, you're going to react emotionally because you're uncomfortable having invested so much. So it's very important to kind of decide ahead of time for each trade, what's your comfort level? If you have a full position of Bitcoin, are you going to be comfortable if it goes to 9,000? Because again, the market will figure out, and just some amazing way it does this, it knows how to attack you if you over allocate funds, and it will make you do the wrong thing at the wrong time.
It's crazy how it brings that out in you. It's absolutely insane. I think last question, Gareth. Thank you so much for the time, bro. We have people that are asking, is it time to short Bitcoin? And I think this is a big thing now, because yes, we still have a possible depression to come, and we do have a possible another level to come to the leg down. But it kind of feels that we're getting bullish at a 60K Bitcoin. It kind of feels, 60K now bullish, and now people are like, they're trying to short, and they're trying to they're at these levels. What is your opinion on that right now? Is it probably best to not even trade in that aspect of let's rather wait for the bleed off and basically build up in that time? What is your opinion on people now bearish now and wanting to short now? I just feel you're getting stuck in a mindset. I feel the damage is done. And I just feel if you're stuck in that mindset for too long, it's going to basically be the same as what happened in the bull market, just in reverse.
No, you're 100% right. And again, this is where the risk reward factors in, right? So let's say Bitcoin goes to $9,000. You're basically, your reward here is about $8,000 versus if it starts squeezing up, you could lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000. So I think that, again, this is a great example where people are trying to chase, and chasing in trading is the worst thing you can do. And I always like to use the analogy of for some reason, investors, they're willing to pay higher prices, or in the case of shorting, pay lower prices. But when we go to the mall to buy some jeans or a pair of shoes, we don't go to the mall and, we see it on sale at $100 one week, and then the next week it's $500 for that same pair of jeans. We don't go, oh my God, I got to buy 10 pair of jeans. You so say, true. No, let me wait for this thing, So that's the same thought process. You have to translate what we do at the shopping centers and the stores into your trading. It should be the same mindset. You're looking for deals. You're looking for sales.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it so much. We should actually do a badass TA show. I think
we should, buddy. Thank you guys for having me. And you guys are doing great work. Keep educating. It's the best thing in the world.
We're gonna, bro. 100,000 students in 2023. I'm telling you, 100 to 500,000 students. We got it. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
There was one more, Gareth, before you jump off, there was one more question from one of our moderators, which I think everyone can relate to. If you could give your younger self some advice on some of the biggest mistakes you've made along the way. Hard question, I guess, on the spot. But just off the bat, what would that be? What would sort of the key differences be now that you know what you know?
Yeah. So, it's the hardest thing is to do just one, because God knows I made so many mistakes as a new trader. And by the way, for everyone listening, please keep that in mind, is everyone that is a pro now started out as a newbie at some point, making all the mistakes that you've ever made, losing, I lost 70% of my portfolio in one day trading. So for me, it would be go smaller and kind of be more humble in terms of understanding that any trade can go against you. There's no surefire trade. There's no 100% in anything. And really just don't chase. Don't chase, stay patient. Remember, there's always another trade on the horizon.
Amazing. Thank you. And I believe Run has actually joined us. So I wanted to invite him to just say hi.
I'm surprised he's not on a Twitter Spaces, or is he doing something? He never stops.
But Gareth, really from our side and representing the Crypto School team, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the amazing stuff you've shared in such a short space of time this evening. I think you've shared so much value, and we look forward to hosting you again whenever you have the capacity to join us again.
Wonderful. I'd love to come back. Thank you so much.
Have a good Christmas, bro.
You too. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Take care. Cool. So Sheldon, are you going to deep dive into some of that stuff that you covered with us this morning? Give this crowd a view of some of that, or you want to dive into questions?
So last week I focused, I wanted to show the business and I wanted to show you guys how we actually split these businesses up. And last week I ended up going back to TA and just helping everyone with TA questions. And I thought, this morning, let's bring back the full understanding that the TA is 10% of the skill, and ultimately the business and understanding how to split businesses. Can someone just mute, please? Okay, there we go. Amazing. Okay, cool. So guys, last week we spoke about TA, and this week, it's about speaking the businesses and understanding how, we actually had questions this morning. What I ended up explaining, and I'll go through it now, simply of what I spoke this morning. And then I'm going to go a little bit more into depth of some TA afterwards and give you guys a nice little round off. Remember, we are working that if you finish the school, we're going to be looking at a 3-hour trading session. So keep your emails and everything alerted for that. We'll be sending you when we're doing that. So this is not the end. There'll be one more big one together where we can sit and everyone with their computers and we can really deep dive and put everything together. But ultimately, what I spoke about this morning is businesses, right? Understanding that each part of your portfolio is a business. Each business needs a specific time frame that's attached to that business, and it needs a simple rule system. It then has a trading journal that's attached to it, which is there for improvements, which is just there to analyze, are you on the right track and should I be tweaking something, especially when the market shifts. Now, the reason why you have the trading journal is you may be kicking ass now, but maybe all of a sudden the market goes extremely bullish next week, or, and all of a sudden you're not as good as what you were last week. And that's because the market shifted. It went into a different place. And that trading journal is just a constant system. I don't want you guys to ignore that and to get rid of that when you think you're starting to get good now. You have to remember that you have to, continuously evolve as the market's shifting and moving into the next phase. That trading journal is going to guide you there. But ultimately, the way it looks is like this. I've used a $5,000 account as an example. Where to start? I think that's the big question, because people will just put in 5,000 and they have no direction on it. You need to capture that 5,000. What is it for? Ultimately, what do you want out of crypto? And once you know that, let's start to build a step-for-step business. Stop this looking at the end targets, and that's where I'm going straight away. No, the success to crypto is step-for-step and building your way up the ladder. And the way it came down to is I have 3 major things on this example. I want to make a $3,000 salary a month. I want a $20,000 car, and I want a $300,000 house. I only have $5,000. Sounds crazy, right? But ultimately, this is where the power comes of crypto, of how you build this actual system. Now, what you do next, priority list. You can't build all 3 right now. Even if you have a lot more, you got a $20,000, $30,000 account, you cannot start with all 3. The purpose of this is to not short the system, is to not try to take a shortcut. Ooh, I got more money than you. I can start off at this level. No, you can't. You start off at step 1. And when you have the right and you've built step 1 to the success, then you qualify to go to step 2. And the reason why I'm going to be the one that sits here and teaches you guys this and tells you this, because even if you do have money to short the system, you are going to get caught and the market will suck you out very quickly at some point. And I'm sure a lot of us have noticed that throughout the bear market. At this space does not matter about how much money you got. It's about the consistency of how you can actually use this extremely volatile market. So you make a priority list. And the way I said it was, the first thing I need this $5,000 to do is make me a $3,000 salary. Why? Because this gives me more time. If I have a $3,000 salary from crypto every month, I can invest more time in crypto. I can get better. And that's the first step. How can I invest more time and be financially set? A lot of people will just quit now and they'll come full time into crypto, but they don't have money every month. They don't have a business performing. They don't have any of these things happening. And in the day, you're just putting yourself, you're trying to get rid of emotion. That's the whole purpose of this, is to learn to trade like a robot. And by you adding the stress on yourself adds emotion. Okay. So let's jump to the next one. I don't like Zoom with all these things. There we go. Cool. So now I have business 1, priority 1. And ultimately, now I have a few options. With the $5,000 accounts, if I want to make $3,000 a month, I got to make 60%, right? What I decided to do was create 4 different scenarios. I only got 5,000 now, but what happens if I had 10,000? That would mean I would only have to make 30% to make $3,000 a month. And if I had a $20,000 account, then I'd only need 15% to make $3,000 a month. And if I had a $30,000 account, I'd only have to make 10% out of $3,000 a month. Okay, cool. So I got a 4-step roadmap of what the possibilities of me living and making that salary a month. Secondly, what have I done? I then put out all the time frames. Guys, this little bit of work here, this small little bit of work here has saved you a year to 2 years in crypto. Like this has sucked us so long. We didn't even stick to this little simple structure here. Understanding the time frames and what the market is offering you currently. So the way you do this is you take your $5,000 and whatever your goals and whatever your businesses are. Okay. And then you go to your charts and you say, okay, cool. I'm going to take my 1 hour, my 4 hour, my 8 hour, my 12 hour, and my daily charts. I'm going to go look at the last month's data and I'm going to go see currently what does this market provide me on each time frame? Very simple. Okay. 28 trades on an hour chart, 3 to 5% per trade. That's what it's offering. And ultimately maximize, I can get between 80 to 100%. If I get all those trades at that level with good risk to reward or good structure. Now you are going to have losses and I'll speak about that shortly. But ultimately, I just want to know what does it offer me. Then I have a 4-hour chart, gives me 12 trades a month, 8 to 12% per trade. How do I identify this, guys? The percentages, stochastic, from bottom to top, from top to bottom. That's it. When it's from overbought to oversold to overbought to oversold. That's how you check it. That's it. You just want to see the range. The stochastic is such a powerful tool already. I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me. So, and what's this basically meaning? I could take 12 trades a month, 8 to 12%, ultimately giving me 95 to 120% gains off that time frame. The 8-hour chart, 8 trades, 12 to 15, 95 to 110. The 12-hour, 5 trades a month, 15 to 20%, 75 to 100. And then we've got the daily, which is only 2 trades a month, offering me 30 to 40% per trade and basically 60 to 80%. So firstly, what's beautiful about this is firstly, you've given yourself 4 options on how you could make this $3,000 possible. Doesn't matter what you're starting with. You're giving yourself 4 different options and you're giving yourself 5 different strategies that you can choose from with the current time that you have. And secondly, which strategy is more powerful? Guys, if you knew now, just the simplicity that a day trader in your mind says, if I trade every day, I'm going to make more money. Okay. And yes. Okay, cool. Maybe in a boomer, that's fine. But if you look at the data right now, no, 8 trades per month is the best strategy right now. Out of all of these, that's the best one. And it's crazy. That's just saved you so much. Now you think you have to trade every day. No, the best strategy right now is this one. Guys, and you can do this every month end. When the month end comes, you go through and say, cool, I'm getting ready for the next month. Let me go look at the last data. Let me build this whole thing for the month. Boom, 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 boom. Because the only reason you're going to do that is if the market explodes now. These will be bigger. And ideally, what it teaches you is to move with the market when it moves. Now, the big problem is if the market goes bullish now tomorrow and it decides to explode, right? And you're still stuck in this mindset, you're falling behind. So by you adjusting and changing this every month, once a month, guys, once a month, it'll take you an hour. Not even to do that. It took me 2 hours to build this all this morning. An hour gives you the whole thing for the month, and at least you're moving with the market as it moves. Then what it does for you, secondly, is now you can match the time that you have, and now you can see, okay, cool, which one do I want? Now let's go to the next slide over here, and here's the roadmap, okay? I ideally see myself, if I looked at that little simplicity understanding of what the market offers me, I know that if I have $20,000 to make 15% a month for 3K, that one seems reasonable for me. That one seems, maybe the 30K, you can decide which one seems reasonably. But for me, 20K, 15% out of the whole month, I'm going to make one 15% trade or make 15% in total to make my salary. That one seems a lot more comfortable than me having to make 60% a month, because that's putting tons of pressure on yourself. So for me, I paint the roadmap now. Okay, cool. Business 1, I need to get my account from $5,000 to $20,000. Now, a lot of people will look at it. They won't even have this middle step. 5,000 to 20,000. In your head, 400%. That's like, whoa, like, the market's only moving like 10% every few days. How the hell, like 400%? No, remember, step for step. The first step is to get to 10,000. After 10,000, we get to 20, and it's 100. So what it basically means is if I go to this previous structure over here, I look at already what's offering me these percentages and these sort of ranges. If I take a month to a month and a half of the 8-hour strategy, and the reason why I'm saying a month and a half is to allow myself 1 or 2 stop loss hits. Remember, as long as you follow my risk to reward of 3 and higher, losses are fine. Losses are no problem. You can have 5 losses out of 10. Like it doesn't matter as long as you are continuously using that simplicity of the risk to reward. It doesn't matter because you finally learned risk. And the day you've learned risk is now you're starting to step up. But ultimately what it means, if I use the 8-hour chart, a month and a half can get me to the target of the first step. Once I'm at the first step, I can then build the roadmap for the next one. Same strategy. And ultimately I'll give myself 4 months off of the 8-hour chart in a market that is going dead right now. It's not even, this is on the current market, guys. But remember now, in order for this to be on the current market, you have to know how to long and short. I want to explain this again. This is not leverage. This is spot. What I just showed you now and what I'm going to continue showing you now is spot accounts. It's absolutely incredible. But you have to know that it's longing and shorting. When the RSI is at the top, you're shorting when it's long. And that means on a futures exchange, on a 1x, no borrowed money, nothing like that, no liquidation, but spot to do that consistently. If you're only a long trader, it will take you double the time because the market's not always going to offer you longs and ultimately it's going to halve those trades. And it's the same with shorting. If you can only short and you don't know how to long, ultimately it's going to take you double the time. If that's what you want, that's fine. You don't have to trade both ways. Just be realistic with yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you keep creating this dream in your head, dreaming is fine. But the problem is when you're unrealistic with yourself is where you absolutely destroy yourself. Be realistic of how you can actually get to that simple target. So ultimately a month and a half to get to step 1. And from that, another month and a half, call it 2 months even, to get to this next step over here. Now I achieved my 20K business, right? I achieve it now in 4 months. That's great. Now, what has that done for me? Firstly, it's given me a basic understanding that I've built a business that makes me salary. That's all this business will ever do. It will never do anything more for me other than expand and build new businesses for me. But it has no other purpose than making me my salary every month. And that's beautiful. And what you do with that is now you wrap up that business, that 20K business, you wrap it up into a time frame, you wrap it up into a rule sheet, you wrap it up into a trading journal, and that's it. It's in a box, boom, on the shelf, and you follow that damn system every day, and that's how it works. You don't have to complicate it. The biggest problem is people will take that 5,000 and they got 10 different purposes for it. And that's why they shift from different time frames and they shift here. They have no understanding what that is. If you have one simple portfolio that is meant to do one thing on one time frame, not caring about anything else, then that specific thing, now it becomes so much more achievable and so much more understanding, so much more simple. Simplicity is what gets you there, guys. Now you get there, and now we're looking at the next business, okay? The next business, I want to open a car business. I want to open a house business. You can create whichever priority. I've just put them here together. And ultimately what it means is when I have that 20K business, the first thing, now I've built the business. Now I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to build my second business. Okay. The first thing I need to do is achieve my goal for that month, get my salary in. Fantastic. Then what it means is what am I willing to put in this account to start the next business? Now my ultimate goal is a $20,000 car and a $300,000 house. Amazing. But what am I willing to put in? Now, the true skill with crypto, and one of my favorite things, I spoke about it this morning, is paying so cheap for stuff that's the same, that's just as expensive. For example, my car that I bought, $30,000, $35,000, I put $3,000 in the trade. So I traded $3,000 up to $35,000 and I bought my car. So the true power about crypto is understanding that you can set your goals for whatever you want to buy, but it teaches you to pay the price that you want. So if you had the choice right now to ask any of you right now, that you want to buy a $300,000 house. Will you pay the $300,000 now? Or you put in $10,000 now, and a year you go buy that house with that $10,000. What will you say? Would you rather wait a year to pay $10,000 now, or will you pay the $300,000 straight away now? You know, do you see how it starts to teach you the different way of looking at things, where you can actually start building portfolios and start paying for things the way at the price that you want to pay? And another way that's even more special than that is when the account gets to a level, right? You can even take that initial capital out and make that damn car for free and make that house for free. Why am I teaching you the power of using money to make more money and make it free? Because it completely detaches the emotion. When it's your own hard-earned money and it's your savings and it's these things, you are emotionally attached to that. And that emotion is what's something that drives you to make stupid mistakes and continuously has you like babysitting this thing. When it's free money, you can be a robot. And the reason why I'd say this now, if I had to take, there's a whole bunch, there's tons of people sitting in the room right now. If I had to give you a game to play, you will do so well in the game. You'll make money in the game. All of us, you all have a game you're good at. You all have something you're good at every single day. You know how to do it because you're not emotionally attached when you're playing a game on your phone or you're doing whatever it is. It's easy, right? You can do it. Now, I know so many kids that can make millions of dollars on GTA. They can make so much, they can buy mansions in GTA and stuff like that. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing in life. Like you've just done it in the game. Like you just have to, it's the emotion attachment that gets you stuck from making that happen. So the true power of this is by you. I want you guys, you know, there was someone this morning that said, you've shown me these businesses. I have enough money to create all three now. No, like, the goal of this is to not put money in and continue to put money in. That's where it shoots you. You want to put a certain amount of money in and never put money in again. You want to learn how to make the first one a business and then filter it into the next. So jumping back to this, I've come now to 2 businesses. I only want to put $3,000 for a car and I need to get it to 20K. I want to put $10,000 in for a house and I want to do it to 300K. Okay. The first thing I need to do is achieve my 15% to make my salary on that account. After that, I need to make $3,000 on that 20K, which is basically a 10%. Okay. Once I've made that above my salary, I can open my car business. Okay. Then secondly, if I want to create my house business, once I've started my car business, do one at a time. Don't go and just create both, one at a time. You can prioritize which one's more important in your life right now. Do you need a car? Or do you need a house? You prioritize which one you want and you start with that. But you have an understanding of how you can create both. And it's the same with the house business. If your salary, if it's 20K for that salary business, you need to make a 50% trade extra in the month or 2 months. You know, time frames you can decide, guys, with whatever time you have in your life. But that's the percentage that you need, a realistic percentage what you need. Once you have that, now you start your house business. Okay, cool. Now let's jump on to the next step. Now it's about building that actual business. So what you do now, what does your business need first? It needs a time frame. Okay. Secondly, with the time frame, it needs a structure and then it needs a roadmap. Very simple, right? So if I take my car business, $3,000, and I put it with the 8-hour chart strategy, which gives me 8 trades a month. Now remember, the initial one offers me 95 to 110%. That means you get all the trades right, which we know is not possible, right? It's not possible. But with risk to reward and you keep doing that thing, 70% for me is definitely possible. Let's go back over here. So what I've set is 70% a month. So I've given myself losses. I've given myself stop loss hits. I've given myself losing trades throughout those things. 70% a month. Month 1, my account will be $3,000. I make 70% on it. Guys, this can even be 2 months at a time. Like I'm just showing you the step-by-step method. For me, I see myself achieving this per month. Maybe for you, it can be every 2 months it achieves this. Like you can ultimately see what works with you. Let's see, we just got load shedding. But if we have a look here, $3,000, 70%, 5-1. After that, month 2, 5-1, 70%, 8-6. Month 3, 8-6, 70%, 14,700. Do you see how all of a sudden, guys, the first 3 steps are the hardest steps. All of a sudden, it just comes out of nowhere and just blasts away when it gets to the 3rd, 4th step. And you can see here, From here, 14,000 on a 70%, $25,000. 4 months with that structure of 70%, I achieved my car from a 3,000. I actually have 22,000 profits, and I have $3,000, which I can pay myself back for that business to open me another business if I want, another car, whatever it may be. Let's jump to the next one. Now, the next one, the house business. So do you see how you must not be afraid with crypto because everyone thinks I must trade every day? No. So I've changed it now, and I've decided that I have a $10,000 account here, but I'm going to use the daily strategy. I'm working. I don't have time. So I can only trade twice a month. Okay. On the current strategy, in the most boring market ever, 2 trades a month currently offers 60 to 80%. I gave myself the freedom of saying 50% is what I'm making a month. Think about it, guys. In the last month, Bitcoin went to 15.5, and then went to 18, and then went back to 50. Like if you go take those, go to the stochastic RSI, there was only 1 buy and 1 short within the whole of the last month. The stochastic on the daily gave it to you clear in that range. I'll go through some TA now and make sure we remember it's not about TA is 10%. It's the roadmap and understanding the figures and understanding the amounts. And when it gets there, what do I do next? And where do I put the money after that? The TA I'll show you now. We'll make sure we get those entries for the longs, and the risk is low and these sort of things. But look at the house business. 50%, 2 trades a month. Month 1, 10,000, 15,000. Month 2, 15,000, 50%, 22,000. Month 3, 22 to 33. Month 4, 33 to 50. 50 to 76. Here comes the huge jump. 76 to 114. 114 to 171. 171, 256, 256, 384,000. Same repetition, same structure, same thing. Understanding that I know many would be like, is this realistic? Is this that? Is this that? A simple mathematic system is 100% accurate. You can either be your worst enemy and tell me it's not possible. But for me, I've already given myself losses. I've already given myself structures, and I've given myself a stochastic RSI. I've given myself a tool. I've given myself risk to reward. I've given myself all the things that help me achieve this. I've done 50x this, more than this, way more than this. In that sense, it is extremely possible throughout through the current market. I think, let me stop here for a sec. Guys, doesn't make sense. Pop in the chat. Doesn't make sense. The compounding effect is crazy. The only time compounding becomes extremely unsafe is when it has no limit of what it needs to do. So for me, it's very simple. I want to make a house. I have $10,000 and I got to make it $300,000. That's why I'll compound account. But when that 300,000 is done, that business that money gets taken out, put in a wallet. I go prep to buy the house. I still have that 10K to use that business to build whatever I want next. And ultimately, after that, you can learn to start branching even little businesses in your life. A Christmas business, a shoe business, whatever. Like I've spoken many times about these things, how it starts. But it starts off with the first one, of getting the first one right, of making the salary. Once you've made the salary and you've stepped that road, from that, it branches into the next and branches into the next. And you'll soon see how you're able to just start all these branches throughout all of them. So compounding is great when it has an initial and a main target. The problem with compounding is if you don't have a target. This is where the bear market and that destroys, or the bull market destroys you, because you have $10,000, you make it $300,000, and then in your head you're like, this is going to go to $500,000. You never have a cap, and because you never have a cap, you never sell, and that's why you keep going through this tsunami wave of these massive gains of being rich and poor. I'm teaching you to make a cap. I'm teaching you to make a roadmap. I'm teaching you to make every single cent that's in your portfolio to have a purpose and to have a structure and a rule system behind every single cent that's in your portfolio. If you do that and you actually have it, you will be so shocked how far that money takes you and what it creates you in your life. It's when you have money that's there that you have no idea what to do with it. It's not even structured. It's loose money. And that's why it's taken away from you at any point in the market, because you have no understanding of what it is. Every single penny in your portfolio needs a purpose. If you give it the love, you give it the purpose, you give it a home, you give it a structure, it's going to make you so much more than what you could ever understand. Any questions, guys?
I think there are hundreds of questions. So we'll try and answer as many as we can. I see a bunch of people have their hands up. I'm not sure if you have mentioned it, but I did notice a question that had come up earlier again that I thought is worth addressing.
So, sorry, a quick question here.
Yes.
What happens if you don't have 5,000, only have 250? Cool. 250 to 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000. Start your roadmap. Get going. You got $250. Step one, $500. Step two, $1,000. What time frame is going to give you that? What time have you got in your life to do that? When it gets to a certain level, when are you going to open the next business? When are you going to dedicate more time to crypto? Start asking yourself all these questions. I don't care how much money you have. You can have $10, you can have this, whatever. If you build step-for-step roadmap and an understanding that when you get to the next step, where do you go next? You'll be incredibly surprised how quickly it comes and how fast you'll get that $250 to whatever you want it to do for you, you can. Go for it, Gina.
Awesome. No, I just wanted to touch on that same question that had come up earlier today about when we're talking about businesses, do you mean a different wallet for each, a different exchange for each, just to clarify that for any confusion for anyone in this call?
So the way it works is all of these timeframes, I'll bring it up on the screen again. If I bring up these timeframes over here, you will see that all of them have maintenance and they have a certain amount of trades you need to do in a month. So anything that needs to be actively traded in a month will be in an exchange. Okay. Any longer time frame. Remember, this is smaller time frames. You get weeklies. Now, for guys that are older or like they have life savings and they have things, you're using the weekly and the monthly charts. Ignore all these small ones. Go do the same thing. Go take the stock RSI. Yeah, let me do it for you. Let me show you. Let's go on to what token should we do? Anyone? Let's do Ethereum. Let's do Ethereum, and let me just get rid of, there we go. Let's go to the weekly on Ethereum, and let's make sure the chart is clean. Let me show you. So ultimately on ETH, if you had to have a look, there's the bottom, there's the top. RSIs, guys, look how it calls the bottoms. It's incredible what it actually does. There's the top, there's the bottom, there's the top. Okay, great. Basic understanding of what this chart does for me is a 50%. Let's get another average over here. A 50%. Let's get another average over here. 60%. And let's get another push over here. Wow. 130%. Cool. So ultimately, out of your last 4 trades on the weekly chart, which would have taken you basically a year, you would have traded 4 times in the last year. You'd basically look at an average of around 50 to 60% per trade. So what it does for you now is if you're a long-term investor, or you're someone that has capital now in the higher time frames, you don't need the smaller things right now. You have a house, you have a car, but you have a savings that you want for the rest of your life. You can easily attach it to the higher time frame ones and do the exact same thing. So I only gave you a few examples on the smaller time frames, but you can go understand exactly what a weekly does. You can even go to the monthly and understand what the monthly does for you. End of the day, it's about attaching your money in your wallet with a purpose and with the strategy. If the money is actively traded, you have it on exchanges. If it's on only 2 times a year, you can have it in wallets, external wallets. If it's only traded every 3 years, have it in wallets. So the only money that you have is in exchanges. So for example, I'll start that $5,000 now on a Bybit account. Okay. Then I have an OKX account and I have a BitGet account that are my next 2 businesses waiting. When I achieve my goal of my first business and I'm able to create my second one, the $3,000 will be sent to my OKX, or it can be a sub account. Just make sure the accounts are not connected, because you're going to have the temptation when your one business is doing bad to take money from the one and feed the other. And that's where it traps you. So I like them on complete different exchanges, because then I can't interfere with them. But ultimately, once that 3K is ready, it goes to my OKX. I then start that business. Once the other 10K is ready for my house, that one will then be sent to my BitGet accounts. And then I'll be using those 3 businesses over there. And do you see how businesses, remember, some businesses, guys, have a lifespan. So for example, if you look at a house business, when that house is achieved, you still have that business. So that business can now become a purpose or for something else. So remember, you got businesses that have lifespans, like your salary business is your salary business. That's something that's going to continue and if not, only grow and get better when it comes to salary. But your house business, when that's bought, you have that business to build something else now. And that's the way I did it. I did one on how can I, guys, I've started something called the Chosen Ones. And the Chosen Ones is where I took my friends from school and I took my friends and family in my life, and I decided to create a game show. It launches on the 1st of January. I think you're going to be very surprised what Sniper's been doing in his time this year. But I decided to do this exact strategy. I decided to take money like this, and I decided, how can I change every single one of my favorite friends and my true family? How can I change their lives? What is the goal that we need to make this happen? No, we need $50,000 a month. This is what it cost me just to fund my friends and to start this. $50,000 a month is what it cost me. Okay. I couldn't then. 6 months ago, it wasn't possible. I managed to build the accounts and use this simple system to get it to a way now where I have every single one of my friends that fly down to Cape Town every month end that record with me, and we're about to drop an insane YouTube channel off of this system. That previous account were the ones that helped me pay my rent and bought all of my furniture. When I bought my rent, when I paid my rent, my 2 years up front in my rent, and I bought my furniture, that business became vacant. So I could use that business to change my friends' lives. And then when my friends' lives are changed, I can use that business to go change people on the streets' lives. Like, do you see how I can keep reusing my business to whatever I need to adjust in my life? It's incredible, guys. It's absolutely incredible. Go for it, Gina. So I'm extremely passionate tonight with this stuff.
No, this is awesome. People are loving it. I think we've got a couple of people lined up waiting to ask their questions. So let's dive right into the questions. Let's start with you, Dion. Go for it. Here we go.
Hi.
What's up, bro?
Are you?
You're muted. I'm not sure why. Sorry. What did you do?
Sorry. I was just wanting to say big thank you to all of you guys at Crypto Banter. My question is, how can we maybe get an example of how to change our strategies when the bull market hits? Just so that we know what to expect.
Okay. So the only difference is the same percentages, but a lot more of the upside. So I'll show you here now. Cool. So if you have a look now, it's very obvious that the market is in a sideways event, right? So ultimately, if you had to take these percentages from top to bottom, you'll see basically it's offering you a certain amount. Now, if you had to go look at the bull market, it's offering you the same amount of percentages, just slightly more in one direction. Okay, but still offering you the exact same. So remember, naturally by you following the RSI, your strategy is going to adjust automatically without even you having to do more. Think about it, because you've just learned the skill of not buying an overbought market, and you've learned to not sell an oversold market. So for example, this is where your patterns come into play, and the understanding of trend lines and the higher time frame views. That right now, ETH and Bitcoin, let me just clear up all of this. There we go. Right now, you can see it's very clear that ETH and Bitcoin are ranging. Okay. And they're ranging slightly down. You can see there. It's literally ranging same percentages, same sort of views. As long as you continue to buy in these areas, and this all of a sudden decides to break structure and start to make its way up, firstly, the stochastic RSI is already going to adjust with the strategy, which is beautiful. But ultimately, you know that the market cycle works in one way, the emotion market cycle. When we come off a big bear market to the downside, we go sideways. When we break sideways, what happens next? Disbelief. That's the market cycle. It will always remain that cycle. And you'll see that many, many, many times in your journey, that what comes next. And ultimately, if we are ranging here and we decide to break this wedge to the upside, and we have a high time frame RSI reset here, we even have a higher one, which is completely reset for a long time. Let's actually clear the chart here, which is the monthly, which is completely sitting at a way lower point than what it's been for a long time. You know, you can soon see how the market will start to shift and obviously change. And automatically, by you following the same systems, it's not going to change, bro. You're not going to have to change mentally that much. All the tools that I've given you, the trend lines, the stochastic RSIs, the horizontals, the risk reward tool, it will all work beautifully, even if the market shifts into the next phase. If the market shifts into the next phase, you will know by higher time frame breaks. As I said, the trend we're forming now and the sort of pattern we're forming. But ultimately, stick to the same process of selling the RSIs at the top and at the bottom. It's all about the consistency throughout those times. What I will do, though, is when we do the live trading session, I'll go into this a lot more in depth. I do have a little bit more I want to possibly just touch on, but I'll go into this. It's a great question, and I will adjust more on this in the live trading session.
Thanks, Sheldon.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Thanks, Dion. I think we're going to take 3 more questions. We've got Peter lined up, Marco, and then April. And then we'll close out with these formalities, and I'll do a quick what are the next steps and what happens next, and do we have access and all of those things, and of course announcing the winning teams. But let's hear from Peter first. Go for it, Peter.
Well, I'll say thank you very much once again, but I'll end it there because I could go on about that for ages. So let's say you're going for a £300,000 house. But once you've actually got 300,000, obviously it's a lot easier to get to say 600,000. So why wouldn't you use the strategy just say, well, actually I'm going to go for a 600,000 house because I want a 300 one. But with that, I can put money back to do my salary and make a higher salary and another car. And
so theoretically it makes sense. But the market's you're gonna end up buying no house, and that's something that I can promise you 100%. You're gonna buy no house. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's that, bro, and that's why you have to be the fact that you even said that, you got to be so strict on yourself on the next bull market that you know exactly what you want and you stick to it. Because that mind is gonna try change. It's going to change it when you're there, and it's going to make every single say, no, a $600,000, £600 house, that's even better. I promise you, if you have that mindset, you're going to end up buying no house. I've been through it many times with my car now. Like when I was buying a car, I went through 3 times where I was going to buy my car, and I never got my car. And then there was the one day I was like, that's it. Like I'm here now, I'm doing it. And I finally got my car. And guess what? That Monday, the market dumped. If I never bought that car that day, I would never have bought it again. Like that's the crazy part of it. Be very careful of that and just be structured with that. Incredibly important.
Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. Let's hear from Marco.
Hi guys, thanks very much. If I was to thank you properly, I think I'd need a full hour. So I've been trying to learn as much as I can on YouTube, and I've got to say, for any newcomers, I've got to say YouTube is not the place to learn. And you guys have what you've put on in 3 weeks. I've been studying for a year. I haven't learned as much. So honestly, thank you.
Absolutely.
My question, Sheldon, is very specific. I'm understanding very clearly your timelines and your timeframes, but those of us that are more leaning towards degenerate trading, like 5-minute time charts, I've got to ask you specifically, have you ever traded? Do you trade the 5-minute chart? And if so, is the stochastic RSI a good indicator for that? Or should we be looking at a completely new set of indicators, knowing that there's no holy grail? I accept that.
So I don't do 5 minutes, I do 15 minutes. 15 minutes was always the one that really gripped well for me. But it's the same thing. Remember, the RSI is just going to give you the range. And then trend lines, I really use a lot of trend lines for 5-minute charts because it's just a lot more safer than guessing the bottoms. Because if you don't zoom out and you don't know what's coming next, like, you may be coming to test a 17K support on the 5-minute. But what you don't know is you're testing a 7-month trend on the weekly, and you buying there on a leveraged account or on a small time frame like an account, but you didn't actually know on the high time frame, like if this loses this level, like you're about to see your ass. And that's the problem with zooming in so much. So trend lines are great for that because you're allowing the bottom to be in, you're allowing for confirmation breaks. So I'd use the same strategy, same tools, just trend lines a little bit more. Trend lines are a bit better structured for me.
It's a great answer. Thanks for taking my question. Thank you.
Amazing.
Cool, thank you. And then final question from our crowd online. I'm going to ask April to go ahead. And then I'm wondering whether anyone in the crowd at our Banter headquarters wanted to share anything before we start closing our official session out. But let's go with April in the meantime.
Hi, from Las Vegas. And I wanted to say thank you. I've been in crypto for almost 3 years. And in the last 3 weeks, this has completely changed my thinking. I look at crypto in a different way now, which after 3 years, going from the ups and downs, now I have a direction, which has just been experience. So,
Well
but
done.
I do still have a question for you about the profit, the taking profit. I looked at that video again after you answered my question last week. And in the video, you go through and you state that you go ahead and you set your stop loss. And then once you've done that, you go ahead and you do take profit. But I'm still locked out. I can't set that take profit once my stop loss is in place. Did we ever figure out, can we not do this on spot and only on margin? Did we find out? Does anybody know?
So I actually found the answer. On Bybit specifically, you need to go set it up, buy your crypto on spot with no stop loss, no take profit, and then you need to use conditional as your option.
Oh, that's what it is. It's conditional.
Then you'll need to set up the condition for all three separately. So you'll need to set up your take profit, your stop loss, as well as any take profit levels that you've got.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Amazing, April. No problem.
Thank you, April. So
Gina,
Jackie,
we have so many people waiting there. I want to go spend time and go see everyone.
For sure. I'm going to let you off the hook now. I'm going to take. Sorry, go for it.
I got one last thing just to close off here. We will have a powerful live trading session together, and I'll still be on Discord, guys. Last thing. If you have a look over here, step-for-step method. You've learned time frames now, and you've learned structure. Create yourself a step-for-step method when it comes to this now. Okay? It comes to the simplicity of if the market's moving in a clear direction, okay, you're then using a Fibonacci. If it's not moving and it's going sideways, you don't use Fibonacci. You still use the support resistance and the stock RSI and the same sort of tools. But ideally, there's 4 major tools for you to focus on, and you have the steps. My step 1 is when I'm looking at very clear that this market has made a leg to the upside. I want to buy the pullback. Where's the 618? It gives me this area. That's step 1, identifying where is 618, where's 786. Secondly, I then go look at where's the nearest support near that. And I see there's support there, and that becomes a support zone. Thirdly, I put in my stock RSI. Okay, when it gets to the bottom there, and I'm at 618 and I'm at support, I'm allowed to ladder in. I'm allowed to enter in 50% of my trade. Okay, I'm either then putting my stop loss under this previous low, or I'm putting on my 786, which I'll show you guys now. I'll do the risk to reward tool on the next page. Then what I have is my step 4. My step 4 is my adding tool. The reason why I'm buying 50 to 60% here is in case it goes wrong and I do get stopped out. And it just minimizes my risk, and it makes my loss a lot smaller if I only have 50% of my position. So I'll enter 50, 60% of my position. And then what happens is when I break trend, then I'm allowed to add my rest in, my other 50% in, because now it's a confirmation indicator. And then from that, then I start moving my stop under the previous low, and I allow the trade to play out. Secondly, remember what you do first is this is my step for step, planning out my trade. Okay, so I've drawn up all my stuff. Now I have an understanding, okay, cool. This is how I want to take the trade. Now it's time to take the trade and actually structure it. And this is where your chart becomes clean. Now, you don't have to have all the mess and everything all over the place. You know, if you're trading it on your exchange, keep the chart clean now, because you've gotten your analysis and you've gotten your areas. Then what you do is, now I've come down that this is where the major buy zone is for me. This is the low I don't want to cross, where my stop loss would go. Then what you do is you put your risk to reward tool. And my risk to reward tool, I see it's not clicked on there, but it showed me a 4% loss. And it showed me, I think it was a 22% gains. It was a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 7 to the upside. And you could see my TPs were on these levels over here. Now remember, I have these little resistances here. And I could have said, oh, but what happens if I wanted to take profit here because here's resistance? That's not worth me to take the trade. When you saw Gareth Soloway sit here, he said, what's risk to reward right now for shorting Bitcoin? Either you get 8,000 to the downside or you get 30,000 to the upside. It's the same thing over here. If you know that this is the nearest resistance and you want to possibly put a take profits there, is it worth to take the trade? Is it worth to, you will lose $100 if you get stopped out and you'll make $100 if it gets right? That's a 50-50. That's a gamble. That's it's not a good trade. So for me, it's like, let me move my risk to reward and let me see where is a decent level that it's worth it. And here was a 1 to 7 risk to reward, and there was 2 clear resistance points over there. Once I've entered this trade and it starts to play out, I'm tracking my stochastic RSI on that higher time frame. If it gets to this area over here and my RSI is at the top and I have a trend line at the bottom and we start to lose, I can take profit slightly earlier. That's okay to take some off the table. But ultimately, this trade is the trade that I wanted. It's the only trade that's worth me taking. And you have to learn to be extremely, strict that I'm only taking this trade if it's going to make me this money. And you can see how beautifully this is set out. Now, it's the same thing when it comes to shorting. Very simple. You have your 4-step method. You have a token that is going up, right? But you can clearly see that on a higher time frame, we are still in a downtrend. There's no higher highs just yet. So what you do is you take your Fibonacci, step 1, from the top to the bottom. Where's the 618? Where's the 786? It gives me an area. Okay, cool. Where's my nearest resistance to those areas? There and there. Now I know, okay, there's an area. Where's my trend line? There's my trend line to add more to the position. Where's my RSI? So step 1 fib, step 2 resistance, step 3 RSI. You're only short when the RSI is at the top. Step 4, where do I add to my position? Now I jump back in here. There's the simplified trade. That's where I put my stop loss. Risk to reward ratio, that's my take profits, which was a previous level. And ultimately, this is a 1 to 5 risk to reward. I am buying 50% when it gets to 618. And I'm adding the rest on the break of trend. Guys, this is how we're going to continuously tweak. And my shows are there every day where I'll jump from moving averages. I'll jump from stochastic RSIs. You're going to continuously get me on the shows every day, playing with indicators and tools. And you're going to always take that information and adjust. The biggest thing that I needed you to do in this whole course is to understand the purpose of the money in your portfolio, that it all needs a purpose, to have an understanding that everything is going to change you when the bull market comes. And it's so important to prep yourself and get yourself ready for that. It's important to have a rule system. It's important to get sleep at night. It's important to spend time with your family and make money. Like, it's important just to have this foundation now because it makes life easy. If you take trading on in the wrong way, it's very addictive. It can actually create a lot more damage than good. So I wanted you to get the understanding that it's the knowledge of making money and how to create businesses and not having to continuously fund, remove emotion from it. And that skill, you're going to get my TA every day on the show. You're going to get Carl's TA on the show. You're going to get Garrett's TA every few days. There are 50 good TA guys in the world out there. You're going to continuously find new tools that you can use to get better at trading. The skill comes in understanding what you want in this space. I am privileged to be here today. I'm privileged that you guys were the first ones that came and did this with me and gave me the confidence to teach again. I was losing the spark in me with teaching, and you guys brought it all back to life. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm proud of every single one of you, and I know we got this together. The bull market will come again. Keep working hard right now, and I promise you we're going to make it happen. Thank you all for giving me this chance and this opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go out and hang out with the crowd there that's at the offices. But Grant, I'm sensing you want to jump in and say something.
Yeah, look, I think perhaps just before the admin, just for a moment, I wanted to share something. It's the people behind the scenes that make all the difference. And guys, this being, one of the final calls and of this particular course and of Sniper School and it coming together so fast, there's just a few people I literally want to take 1 minute to thank. And it's the unsung heroes. It's all the mods. You guys are amazing. T-Man, Canada Chill, Chaos, Finola, Mason, Max with an X, Sunshine, Terry Lynn, Crypto Jackie, Waz with a Z, and of course, Miss Kim. You are so humble and behind the scenes and just supporting everyone all the time and always with a positive attitude. It is just inspiring and amazing. And Gina as well, and you are such an asset to this team. And Tom, I have to mention you, my brother. Guys, you've hardly heard from Tom there, but he is the servant leader behind the scenes who has been the solid foundation and the pillar that holds the whole team together. He is the humble, brilliant, and dedicated. And without him, honestly, all I can say is it's an honor to be building the new world with a man of such caliber, setting ourselves in the right direction. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to honor a few people and just say thank you so much, and thanks everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Grant. I second everything you say. And actually, just to point the mic in the back in your direction, every single piece of content that you see has been driven by Grant on probably less than 2 hours of sleep for the last 3 to 4 months. So Grant, this course would not be what it is without your heart and passion and dedication. So thank you, sir, for bringing the course to the world with Sheldon. And on that note, I want to share with you that this is not the end. This is really just the beginning. And that's what makes this this whole thing super exciting. And just really want to say thank you to every single one of you for your contributions. Through the conversations in the Discord, and just keep at it and don't go away. This is really just the beginning. So have a beautiful day. And to the crowd in Cape Town, I hope you've enjoyed yourselves tonight. Go and have fun with the crowd and the crew and with Sheldon. Take care, everybody, and all the best for the next step in your trading journey. Lots of love from me and the team.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
You guys, you can always go back and rewatch any individual tool, and the videos won't expire. You won't suddenly lose access. You're all part of the Crypto School family for life. Even the live event videos will remain available. Discord community isn't going anywhere, and the bull market is coming. So put your foundations in now and let's go.
Guys, I want to remind you again, the cohort is filling up very fast. It's the 3 simple steps. Use an exchange link below and deposit $100. If you already have a pre-existing account, open a different exchange and deposit the $100. And then you're going to register for Sniper School, and then you're going to put in your user ID. Get your spot now. I believe Bitcoin flies. I believe it touches the sky. Have a good weekend, everyone.